My baby looking too good, yeah, she perfect. No, she worth it. When she pull up, all them man, them flirting. And yeah, she know that she a dime. Call up on my line. Told her, baby, bring it one time. Yeah, just sit down and relax.
Yo, what's really good though? It's your girl Yezzir, and you are watching another banging episode of Hey Sis. If you're listening, it's exclusively only on Spotify. Just type in Hey Sis UK and you'll find us. But I want to say a big shout out to you, my sisters and my brothers of the Hey Sis Fam. We've got some milestones that we've actually reached and I'm so happy. Look down below. You would have seen that we have finally hit our milestone of 1,000 plus subscribers. And we couldn't have done that without you. There's just one little thing. YouTube has a lot of red tape. And they're talking about something about watch hours. So if you haven't seen an episode of ours, go ahead and watch it right after this. If you got an episode that you love, rewatch it. We need to get our watch hours up so we can qualify for certain things and take the show up to a whole new level. But where are my manners, man? How are you? How you doing? Hopefully, whatever day this has dropped, it's been a decent day for you. And if it hasn't, I hope that I can put a pep in your step. But we're going to be talking up the things. So get yourself a cuppa. I got mine right here. Hey, sis. Look at that. It's looking beautiful. If you want a mug of your own, just look down below in the description box. You can get yourself some Hey Sis merch. Support the show, man. Another milestone that I am so happy to talk about. You know when you've got things that you look up to and you've always respected highly? Well, highlight of the week is that Hey Sis was featured in the Madame Noir magazine. I'm going to put the link down below so you can read up on it. It was about our episode where we were talking about beauty standards when it comes to black women and wider society and just the Western world as a whole. And we've had a few clips go viral. Very thankful for that, by the grace of God. But it's really important, not just how many people see, but who sees. And who would have thought a reporter by the name of, I think, Shannon Dawson, please forgive me if I didn't get the name right, would write up a pretty good article, a fantastic article, well thought out article about episodes. So we appreciate you, the whole team at Madame Noir. So today's episode, it made me laugh in irony. It's very ironic that this situation has come up, but you know me, we got to talk up the things on the best podcast out right now, which is Hey Sis UK. I'm minding my business. I'm relaxing, scrolling through the internet like I do. Oh, just before we start as well, make sure you've liked, subscribed, and done all that good stuff before we really get into it. So I'm on the internet doing what I do, scrolling through, and I see a headline and I go, whoa, say it ain't so, but it seems it is. Let me get it out now so I can read it verbatim. Almost made me fall out of my seat. And it's this. This is what today's episode is going to be about. The number of people globally with obesity has exceeded 1 billion. If you go into it a bit further, it goes on to say this actually. It says that the most recent analysis of the year 2022 showed that 879 million adults and 159 million children worldwide were classified as obese. In the UK, approximately 16.8 million people are suffering with obesity, including 8 million women, 7.4 million men, 760,000 boys, and 590,000 girls, according to the study. The irony of this country to say, oh, look at us. We're in an obesity crisis. When you were doing Eat Out to Help Out, you didn't remember that you were in an obesity crisis. But as soon as people now need to use the resources, the very little resources that you get from the NHS, all of a sudden you need to make cutbacks. All of a sudden it's costing you too much. When you were going into the pockets of the people that are dependent on the NHS, which is the working class, lower middle class, now you want to give us the statistics that, oh, we're spending upwards of £6.5 billion a year just to manage the obesity crisis. But when you were doing Eat Out to Help Out, you didn't remember there was a crisis for the past couple of years. I said to myself, you know what, let's deep dive and break down what's actually going on. Because we've had this crisis for quite some time now, but now everyone wants to cause a ruckus about it. The irony of it all. Let's go into it. You know me, I'm going to pull up the stats because the numbers don't lie. So if we go into the yeah, and this has been updated as of recent as the 2nd of February. It's all here. Obesity actually costs the NHS £6.5 billion a year. They're saying that 1 in 4 adults suffer from obesity. About 23% of children aged 10 to 11 years old living in England are living with obesity, placing a huge pressure on the health and care system. Okay, we're in a welfare state. In a welfare state, you would expect to get healthcare, education, safety. That is what you would want, and some kind of governance. Although the government is a bit of a mess right now, and that's me being polite. The government has now said, oh, you know what, we're going to make provisions. Don't you worry. We're going to sort everything out. Let's look at how they have decided to sort things out. Because when we were going through lockdown, you said that Eat Out to Help Out was to help the hospitality industry get back on its feet. It was to help boost the economy. You were doing 50% off food. When people were gobbling down Weatherspoons, you didn't remember that the country was suffering from an obesity crisis. You didn't care about the kids, you didn't care about the adults. But now when they need to use the provisions of the NHS, things like surgeries, therapy to deal with the obesity, medication, all of a sudden you remember where it hurts the most, and that's in your pockets. Because the truth is, the government doesn't care about people, and if there's a type of people they definitely don't care about, it's the working class. But as soon as the working class needs a little something back, considering how much tax they've got people buried in, all of a sudden, we need to do something about this. Let's go and break down what the government said they're going to do. So first things first, they said, what are they going to do to tackle obesity? So the first thing is that they're introducing soft drinks levy. This has removed the equivalent of about 45,000 tons of sugar from soft drinks since its introduction. Now, if you don't remember, it's basically the sugar tax. That's why all the drinks basically taste like crap now. Or they have things like sugar-free labeled across it. Or if you do have a full-fat drink, like a proper full-fat Coca-Cola, it's going to cost you a little bit more. So either way, the government wins. They'll say to you, oh, you know, it's because we care. That's why we're putting this sugar tax levy here. But again, if you really cared, you just get rid of it as a whole. You wouldn't just charge people more to have something, because really it's all about accessibility. That's one of the things they think they're doing to help with the obesity crisis. For me, I'll be honest with you, it's a bit half-assed. Let's keep going down. The second thing that they said they're going to do is the introduction of calorie labeling to empower people to make informed choices. As much as you would say information is key, education is key, access is key, accessibility. So when we talk about, the whole calorific labeling thing, it's basically the traffic light system that they've applied to packaging. So when you see the red, meaning, this is really unhealthy, it's probably high in salt, high in sugar, high in saturated fats. You've got yellow, which is about it's moderate. You know, you're being a bit cheeky, but not too cheeky. And then you've got green. That's the thumbs up to let you know on a psychological standpoint. When I see green, it's healthy. It's letting me know, okay, I can pick this up. But my thing is this, and I got ripped for this a couple episodes back. You say we're going through an obesity crisis, but the current landscape of lower middle class and working class areas is literally chicken shop, corner shop, dessert parlor. The amount of creams and Caspers that are just plotted around these areas as opposed to actual smoothie bars where you can get fresh fruit and salad bars is abysmal. And if you do have them, guess where they are? In other areas. Not working class and definitely not lower middle class. And then they close earlier. But if you go around working class areas, what's open till midnight? The chicken shops, the kebab shops, the dessert parlors, the corner shops, selling all the high fat food for people to buy. So you say that you offer choices to working class people because you want them to be healthier, but you make the unhealthy food more accessible. You make the price points definitely more attractive, because I don't know about you, but if you see salad is more expensive than your average meal deal, or whatever a box of chicken and chips is costing £3, but a salad is costing £8, which one are you going to buy? And then the government is shocked, like, oh my gosh, we're in an obesity crisis. How do we get here? We need to fix it. It's access. When's the last time you encouraged children to get into agriculture, to actually grow the food that they eat, to understand the food that they eat, offer these children education? But when you talk about food technology, all they're doing is teaching kids how to make a spaghetti bolognese out of packaged food, pre-packaged food, that's probably not even the healthy option. But again, the government is surprised that we are in an obesity crisis. This is the stuff that I just can't understand. You enable working class people with bad eating habits, no type of regard for health and wellness, and then you're shocked when the same working class people depend on you, our welfare state, to offer resources to help them through it. Because now they are suffering with obesity and depression and things alike. There was a girl not too long ago, and God rest her soul. She was, obese and probably couldn't get access to some resources. What happened? She had to now go over to these countries like Turkey to get surgery to help reduce the fat. She died. She passed away because of this. Did she get the education she needed? Was she nurtured to have a good relationship with food? We don't know. But because these resources are being cut back, because the government is saying, oh, it's not because of the amount of people that want it, it's about the fact that it's costing us £6.5 billion a year to manage it. You don't want to have to prescribe Ozempic, because that's why majority of celebrities are on it now. And who do people look up to? Celebrities. If your favorite celebrity is seen as one weight by the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, they've lost so much weight off a pill, people are going to start asking the government to provide it. Is it too expensive to manufacture and give out to people for basically free? I mean, we say free, but we're still paying taxes in order to get back the very little resources that were offered. It's shocking. Let's keep going down this breakdown. So another thing that the government said they're going to do to help with tackling obesity is this. They're going to put forward legislation to restrict, operative word restrict, the placement of foods high in fat, sugar or salt in supermarkets to reduce the likelihood of impulse purchases. The marketing world as we know it will be turned upside down, because the whole premise of marketing, especially in supermarkets, is to make people buy more than they had planned. There's a reason why you go into Poundland and you never ever spend just £1. The whole point is to lure you in, spend, and then you just go on your way. And then you have to keep coming back, because food is a necessity, whether it's good or bad. I don't know about you, but every time you queue up, especially for the self-checkout, you have crisps there, the soft drinks, chocolates. Does that mean that you're also going to change the packaging as well? Because the whole premise of chocolate bars and all the unhealthy food is, on a psychological standpoint, they hire people to project the colors that they know are attractive to the human mind. So if I see something like a red or a yellow, I'm more prone to go and reach for that and say, okay, I want to buy this. I'm feeling kind of hungry. Because once you've been shopping around for, let's just say you're walking around the supermarket on average an hour, you're going to get a bit peckish. You're going to reach for something that's quick, a packet of crisps, a pack of Snickers bars, just to eat that, to keep you on the go. Busy day, busy city type of vibe. They never said they were going to get rid of it with the placement. They said they're going to try and restrict it, because what's dominant in all of this? It's not people's health. Who cares? It's not the fact that people can be more prone to certain types of cancer if they are obese. It's about who's cutting the biggest check. And when you've got big supermarket chains, especially like your Walmarts and whatnot, you don't want to really ruin those relationships, especially if you're part of the government and you've got people supporting certain campaigns. But hey, this is them doing what they can do when it comes to tackling the obesity crisis. Let's keep going further down the line, because this is actually cracking me up. And one thing I will add to the whole restriction of placements of food and trying to partner up with supermarkets is that when you give people at least a choice, when you give working class people a choice of access to good food, see how you can change the habits. But when you go to working class areas, you're going to see your Asda's. Asda caters to a certain demographic. There's certain type of foods they're just going to have there. So all this fresh produce, organic and all these things like that, likelihood is people aren't going to go for that. And it's based on education as well. How often do lower middle class and working class children get educated on good food and bad food? Develop relationships in order to associate, okay, what's healthy, what's not healthy? Because these are the same children that they're coming home, they're most likely not having dinner around the table at 6 o'clock. These children are going to the chicken shops that have been conveniently situated near their schools. You look at 4 o'clock, you see the chicken shops are heaving with children because all they can afford is a box of chicken and chips for about £3-4. They don't have time to get a smoothie that's going to cost them £6. Let's be so honest. And then you're going to be shocked that children aged 10 to 11 are dealing with obesity. It's placement, it's accessibility, it's the landscape of lower income areas. You've allowed it, government. But now that it's hitting you in your pockets, you want to do something about it. Let's go on to this next point here. The government said they're going to help children. Wait for this one. They're going to help children and young people have an active start to life with over £600 million funding for PE and sport premium over the next 2 academic years and £22 million for the School Games Organisers Network. When you got rid of all the youth clubs, the few places that children are able to leave their homes, as in walk, commute somewhere, get fresh air, I mean, as fresh as you can get in London, and actually be able to meet other children, play sports, be part of team sports, you didn't remember that. Now the kids are stuck in their houses, which they have been since the pandemic. A lot of people have developed habits where they don't feel sociable enough to go out. So again, they have developed the habit of staying at home. There's no need to go out. Of course, the children are going to gain weight. The streaming, the gaming, the culture of just sitting down, twiddling your thumbs, playing a video game, the children aren't going to be active anymore. And I'm not saying this as a comparable when it comes to weight, when it comes to America, because they're a whole nother league. But America has a team sports culture. You've seen it from high school to university. They have university leagues for their actual team sports. So in America, you see them playing hockey, basketball, American football, soccer, baseball. And I'm sure there's more than that. They've got a thing called a little league. These are little kids playing baseball, team sports, but they're a very competitive culture. In England, a lot of kids in school, it's like, they don't even talk about joining a team if it's not for a career. Oh yeah, I'm playing football because I want to be a footballer. I'm playing cricket, and even that's exclusive depending on your class, because I intend to be a cricket player. I'm playing rugby, again, that depends on your class, because I intend to be a rugby player. When you went to school, how many kids said, oh yeah, I'm going to go horse riding on the weekend? When I was in school, I maybe joined the girls' netball team. That's about it. We went to other schools. I did track and field. Again, that was like in the borough. But how many team sports do people do on a leisurely basis, that children do on a leisurely basis? Now the government's shocked that we're in an obesity crisis. I have to keep saying it because that's what's ringing in my mind. I need to take a drink. It's ringing in my mind because I'm not surprised. So why would the same people that implemented a lack of activities, closed down youth clubs, didn't care about nutrition, kept doing import and export of poorly made pre-packeted food, be the same people to say, oh, you know what, too many people are asking for the NHS a lot, especially when it's related to weight issues. I can't believe this. Let the kids go out again, but when they do go out, give them a reason. Open up a culture of team sports, going out, seeing that the sky is blue and the grass is still green. Actually give these children an incentive. Where are our leagues? The under 16 leagues, not the ones that parents can't afford to put their children through because everyone's paying for their noses to have the next Saka in their household. I'm talking about playing sports leisurely. Unless you're upper class, middle class, you're not going to do the horse riding, the rowing. You know, the ones that they do in the Cambridge, those Oxford Brook kids. They're not doing that in Lewisham. Let's be very honest. Squash, golf. They're not doing that there. These are the same kids that if you mention agriculture, they'll look at you like, what the hell is that? Greens, actually growing produce. Not every child is academically inclined. Some of them might be very good farmers, but a lot of them wouldn't even consider that as a career choice. Why? Because they haven't got the accessibility to that knowledge. There's a whole other world out there that kids from certain backgrounds will never know about. So they continue to poison themselves. If it's not physically through food in their body, it's their mind. And it's because of the lack of knowledge. They're not receiving anything. And then here we are. You've got young girls going over to Turkey dying because they're having to get surgery because that's the only way they feel like they can deal with the obesity. There is no accessibility. And unfortunately, money gives you access. But if you don't have money, what happens? You fall victim to a system that does not care about you. Let's keep going through this list right here. Let's see. The next thing that the government is talking about is that they want to help with new weight loss drugs. New weight loss drugs will provide an effective tool to help support some people living with obesity to lose excess weight. And they quote, "We are committed to a safe introduction of new weight loss drugs into the NHS and are actively exploring ways to increase access to more people who meet the relevant eligibility criteria." So you said you're going to introduce safer drugs, but there's still going to be a criteria. So even with these drugs, not everyone is going to qualify for them. Again, leaving more people victim to places that haven't got the same type of sanctions that England would have and safety precautions, going abroad to get cheaper surgeries, more dangerous surgeries as quick fixes to lose the weight of habits with food that you enabled people to have in the first place. I'm not even too fond of the whole drug option because now you try to combat one issue and then you're actually going to create another issue with drug addiction. You can't even get the young kids off vaping. You haven't even tackled the balloon situation with the canisters. And now you're saying you're going to go and battle obesity. If you wanted to get rid of the canisters, you would have got rid of the canisters. Let's be very honest. If you wanted to solve the issue with vaping, you know, the same type of vaping, smoking tool that's blatantly marketed to children when you've got flavors like strawberry, banana, bubblegum. You put them in every single corner shop, especially in working class areas. And then you go, wow, I don't know why school children are smoking, having vaping about. And now we're creating lung issues for children. Children! Is that what we're talking about right now? You can't even control the kids. Attendance is still low at the schools. And then you decide to yourself, okay, this is the government that we're dealing with. If children aren't attending school, then the only way we can combat that is by fining the parents who can't afford it in the first place. That's your solution to get kids in school. No, we're not going to do a psychological analysis. We're not going to do a home visit to see the child's well-being. We're not going to ask the parents how we can support them in this time. No, we're just going to straight up fine them. Because all this country cares about is money. How many different ways can we suck you dry before enough is enough? An obesity crisis is what we're going through right now, people. Shock horror. Let's keep going. So, this is what the government said their plans are for the future. We're in 2024 now. These are plans to be implemented in 2025. First things first. The banning of advertisement of less healthy products on television and on-demand programs before watershed. So basically between 9 p.m. and 5:30 a.m., that's when you can see all of that. The only reason I'm laughing is this. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled because every Christmas period, you see that Coca-Cola advert. You know the one I'm talking about. The 16-wheeler lorry rolling through. You got Santa Claus with the ho-ho-ho and a full fat of Coca-Cola in their classic glass bottle. I swear, if I see that advert before watershed, all of this is crap. And I'm not talking this year, obviously, 2025, next year, because I know this country is ruled by whoever's cutting the biggest check. So when you give me all of this, oh, we care about the kids, we are the world, we are the children, just cut it. You don't give a damn about kids. And if there's one group of kids that this government does not give a damn about is working class. You couldn't give a toss about them being obese. You make more money when they're buying crappy food anyway. But I digress. The next thing they're going to do, that's why they said about the whole advert thing. They said that basically only advertising unhealthy food after watershed. This will mean fewer people, especially children, will view adverts for less healthy food and drink. You see the words being used within this whole statement, yeah? Restrict, likelihood, less. So it doesn't mean they're getting rid of things as a whole. If you're going to use words, like proper shocking words like obesity crisis, I need to hear you say we are removing this. This item will be banned, no longer available in the country. You say there's a sugar tax, but I can still get full fat soft drinks if I wanted to. All the sugar, all the colorings and all these flavorings if I wanted to. Is it really a crisis like you make it out to be? And then you go and up taxes, yeah? Taxes, especially council taxes, going up to a whole new high, the highest it's ever been. Look around you. Look to your neighbor, to your left and to your right. The life we're living, as in like the quality of life we're living, fellow taxpayers, is it getting any better? But everything seems to be going up except for your salary. Wow. I don't know how long they're going to keep poking the bear, but this is going to start getting really serious. Let's keep going. They also said, and these are plans for 2025, plans for the future. We're going to be banning multi-buy promotions like buy one, get one free on less healthy food from 2025. So that means when I go to certain shops, no longer will I see buy one, get one free or the multi-buy stuff. My thing is that does the government think that we're stupid? Because if you say, okay, no more buy one, get one free, you think all these supermarkets and all these places that have built teams who are aimed to getting our money, they're just not going to come up with like different wording to get our money. Okay, you won't say buy one, get one free, but you'll say Tuesdays, you get X amount. On Saturdays, or this discount for student, this discount for pensioners, or if you've got a child, the children eat for free. Okay, buy one, get one free won't exist anymore, but you're just going to create another way to market and get people's money. If you really cared, you just get rid of it as a whole. Let's keep going. So they said our major condition strategy set out our approach to addressing the principal lifestyle drivers of ill health and disease, such as diet and obesity. We also want to work closely with industry to make the healthy choice an easier choice. If you want to make eating and living an easier lifestyle choice, then give people the choice of accessibility. Go to the working class areas and give us the shops we need to live better lives. Hey, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I caught you. Your hair kiki and laughing and I love it. I love it. Shine those teeth. We love to see it. However, you're watching, enjoying another episode. Probably got yourself a cuppa as you should. But I'm going to need you to like, subscribe, and drop a cheeky comment for me before we go any further. I'll give you a bit of time. Yeah, that's enough time. Let's get back to the episode. If you really cared about giving people accessibility and the choice to live a healthier life, then Be the person that enables a good relationship with food. Like I said, working class landscape is in the bin. Chicken shop, corner shop, dessert parlor, Casper's, creams everywhere I look, open till silly hours. People are able to order all these things on Uber Eats and Deliveroos and all these different apps. Unhealthy food till God knows how many hours in the morning. And now you're shocked. Okay, even if people can't rely on the NHS, yeah, how many working class people, lower middle class people do you know that can actually afford private healthcare? Take Bupa, for example. You want a 15-minute, doctor's consultation with a GP. It'll cost you about £70. Yeah, you'll get it soon. You don't have to wait a month to get an appointment. It might be a bit more effective, but who has £70 to spare? And that's just introductory costs when it comes to your healthcare. We're talking monthly payments, yearly payments to just bog standard healthcare, to be seen on time, to have enough time to be seen about all the issues that you're going through. And these are the same people that say, oh, we're going to help you out. These are the same people that put all these people that are suffering obesity in these situations, and now you want to be the ones to help them out. You can't trust them. If you want to solve your issues, it goes down to the food. You need to know what you're taking in, how it's grown, where it's coming from. Because it's not coming from England. What infrastructure does England have when it comes to produce? Your factories went a long time ago, okay? They are nothing but shells. When it comes to food that's actually grown here, besides some potatoes, nothing. And then again, when it's offered fruits and vegetables, there's no reward system. When you eat unhealthy food, you're rewarded with loyalty and stamps and discounts, vouchers, you name it, for unhealthy food. All these things have been marketed in a way to keep you coming back, from the addictive ingredients inside them to the points that you get for buying more, encouraging customers to come back again. But when it's healthy food, it's almost like a secret club. Organic food, expensive. Amazon Freshes, situated in higher income areas, not lower income areas. You show me where all the Amazon Freshes are plotted around, and I can tell you they're definitely not in working class areas. And I have nothing against Amazon Fresh. It's just the fact that people will say, oh, you know what, you have a choice when it comes to healthy relationship, a healthy diet, a lifestyle choice. But when we're talking about class, and unfortunately these two things are synonymous, when it comes to class and access to education, there are levels to this. So if someone has poor eating habits, let's look at the class they're coming from. Because even if you are rich and you don't have a great relationship with food and you are obese, you can fix it. You can get a personal trainer, you can get a nutritionist, and you can have access to all the surgeries and medication you want to fix your situation. But when you are coming from a different class, that being working class, you don't get quick fixes when it comes to a relationship and habits that have been built over time. There's some people that they don't even know what they're eating is bad. But food is survival for a lot of us. Food is something where it's like, okay, this is where I find pleasure. I don't have anywhere else that I can express, something recreational. That's why people say, I'm a foodie. What do you like to do? Go out to restaurants. How are you happy? When I treat myself to a meal, it's always food, because you haven't been exposed to a culture where you're like, okay, let's go to the theatre. Let's go skiing. Let's go to a gallery. So that's why a lot of people, it's like, okay, when it comes to enjoying life, I've always seen food as a treat. When I was a child, I was treated to ice cream. When I was a teenager, I treated myself to takeaway. As an adult receiving a salary now, I go to restaurants. So for a lot of people, when they want to go out and have a good time, you hear them say, I'm going out to dinner, birthday dinner, anniversary dinner, all these dinners. They don't know about activities because they weren't exposed to that kind of culture. And sometimes the type of culture you have is associated to the class you've grown up with. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like when you get to work, okay, or even university, let's take it back. When you go to university, this might be the first time where you're exposed to people that are from a different class as yourself. And because of that, they have a different culture, a different way of life. When you go to work, it might be foreign to you that people on their lunch break will have a salad, something light, as opposed to a heavy meal. Because to you, you associate a good meal to something that you feel pretty lethargic after having. You feel like, yeah, I'm full. Not in a sense of I'm no longer hungry, but you eat to capacity. Eating to capacity and eating to just not feel hungry anymore are two different sensations that you'll feel. But when you come from a culture and a background where it's like, you haven't eaten until your plate is heaving. You're not satisfied until you feel tired and knocked out and to the point where you want to sleep. That's what we associate with a good meal. No, that's an unhealthy relationship with food. You might come from a culture where you don't do portion control. What's a portion? We don't do portions. We eat to capacity. That's a bad relationship. And some of us didn't have the choice to choose our relationship with food. And because of that, we've grown up thinking that's okay. That's a way of life. Have you noticed sometimes people from a certain culture, they'll go to a restaurant and the first thing they complain about is what? The portion size. Oh, this is tiny. It's not going to fill me up. Why do you need to be filled up? So a lot of people, going to restaurants and dining out is an experience. You appreciate the artwork of the food, how it's been placed and positioned. You appreciate the environment you're in. If anything, the food is merely just a decoration. You're there for the conversation. That's what a lot of people do. It's called a dining experience. You might be in a restaurant that's accompanied by a piano player. There might be a singer. It's an experience. It's a dining experience. It's not a freaking buffet. If you want to eat to capacity, you go to a buffet. But these are the same people as well. When they implement rules at the buffet, they'll say, hey, I can get as much as I can on my plate. That's why a lot of places, especially buffet places, are saying, listen, there's a wastage fee. You waste the food, you pay more. You got to add this up right now. It's your girl Yezzir, and I wanted to let you know that my new series, Hey, I'm the Big Sis You Never Had, is from my book, exclusively on Spotify. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Let's keep going down this whole structure that the government are saying that they're doing to help people like you and I, to avoid obesity, that is. Let's go through it right now. So, these are the measures, okay? So they said, have the measures been successful so far? Because some things have been implemented, like we mentioned, the sugar tax has been here for a while now. Let me know what you think about that. They said, we have seen the average sugar content of retailer and manufacturer branded drinks subject to the soft drinks industry levy decreasing by 46% between 2015 and 2020. Now, let's look at this here. You wouldn't implement something if there wasn't an issue. So if the sugar tax has been in place since 2015 and lockdown was about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, why is it now you're saying we're in an obesity crisis, but you were doing Eat Out to Help Out, 50% off food in different restaurants, pubs, bars, under the guise of trying to help the hospitality industry get back on their feet? But you were giving businesses loans as well. The next thing they've said is that the sugar reduction program has seen a 14.9% reduction of sugar in retailer and manufacturer branded breakfast cereals and 13.5% reduction in yogurts and fromage frais. In the words of Uncle Eddie Abu, cereals are crap. You can't start your day with cereals. If you know, you know. Those who follow Eddie, very good nutritionist and healthcare expert. Over the next 25 years, restrictions on the placement of less healthy, you see those words there, less healthy. These people think they're so slick If you really cared, you would just take it away. Over the next 25 years, restrictions on the placement of less healthy food in shops and online are expected to bring health benefits of over £57 billion and provide NHS savings of £4 billion. So when the NHS does eventually save £4 billion, is that going to improve what we're currently getting? Instead of now where you have little to no beds and you are shifting people out before they're actually properly cared for because you don't have the space. Because that's what's been happening for the last couple of years. There's not enough space in the hospitals. There's not enough beds to go around. People aren't giving their full experience when it comes to actual health care. You know, operative word being care. £4 billion savings. I'd love to see where that gets designated to. Looking forward to it. And the last bit. Calorie labelling is expected to bring health benefits of £4.6 billion and provide NHS savings of £430 million over 25 years. Well, I guess the kids of the future can look forward to that because all they care about now is making money. Or kids don't care about health and wellness because that's never been something that's been put to them as something of some kind of importance. All kids care about now is making money or just living. And I'm not talking about living life and creating experiences. If you ask a young person, so what do you want to do with your life? Don't know, but I know I want to make money. Why do you want to make money? Because they're ruled by social media. They want to look the part. The latest trainers is what they care about. Looking good, being able to afford to go to places that their peers go to. Or you have the other kids that you ask them what do you want to do with their life and they have no idea. Because there's no thirst for a career anymore. They're either gaming or they're just living for social media. And that's why I'm actually happy. Now, hear me out. There's not many times I agree with our Prime Minister, but on this occasion, Rishi, when we do the whole removing phones from schools, I'd like to see what happens with the actual social media culture. Will there be an increase? Will there be a decrease? Will there be a pivot? Because if you're on Instagram long enough, you'd remember that there was a time where Instagram was very organic, very pure. People would upload photos and videos of actual moments in real time. Then there was this surge of, I would say, the influencers who made you feel like, oh, if your pictures don't look a certain way, or if things aren't in a certain setting, or you don't have certain items, don't even bother posting it. You don't fit the aesthetic of social media right now. And it's like a lot of people just fell back. They either found themselves back on Facebook or they just didn't post anymore. They just felt, you know what, let me just live life. I'm not trying to keep up. Because that's what happens. 3 categories. You either keep up, you drown trying to keep up, or you just end up being content with your life. Is one of the 3. I do hope that people just end up being content with their life, because as soon as everyone's content, then no one's going to feel the need to have to keep up with anyone. If you got wired headphones, you wear your wired headphones. If you got wireless ones, you wear the wireless ones. If you in the Peugeot 206, you drive your Peugeot 206. If you in the Mercedes Benz, you drive your Mercedes Benz. But let everyone just be content with what they have. Because that's the only way we're going to get back to a point of where children can start being children again. Because now you got kids that haven't even got their NI number and they're wearing designers that even their parents can't afford. No, I'm being serious. I've seen parents in rags and the children looking like head to toe designer wear. They ain't even got it. They haven't even got a job. They can't afford it. So I know it's the parents. You know the price of concert tickets right now. So you see the kids, they're going to the concerts. They're wearing the designer wear. Even the school uniform, the footwear is spenny. The bags are spenny. The girls are wearing big girl hair. If you know, you know. And then when you tell them, so what do you want to do with your life? Not a clue. They are living for today. They don't care about tomorrow because in their minds, they probably think they're going to be taken care of. But growing up as a kid, you were reminded that whatever decision you wanted to make in your life, you'll be the one to suffer that. It's like the teachers that used to go, no, go ahead, you talk. I've got my degree. It's the constant reminder of whatever you do, all you have is yourself. And all you have is yourself to blame. So I couldn't imagine asking for things that I knew I couldn't afford and then being upset. Like, you will have kids say to their parents, I want these trainers. Why can't you get me these trainers? So-and-so has those trainers. And then you see parents go, we can't afford it. And a child will look at them dead in the eye and be like, well, make it happen. Oh, the kids these days are built differently, boy. Shout out to the parents. Shout out to the parents with patience on an all-time next level. I'll say that for a fact, because back in the day, yeah, it's like you could be poor in peace. Hear me out. You could be poor in peace because, okay, you go to school, you might see people in other garms, whatever. You go back home, you live your life at home, you go out on the weekend. All you needed to afford back then was being able to go to the cinema or go bowling. That's it. Or walking around in the shopping centres. That's what the kids are doing now. Now it's like the same kids that had to see the children in footwear that they couldn't afford, or jackets, coats, bags, whatever. They now have to see them on social media. So the kids can't even get out their mind. They're constantly reminded they can't even afford this stuff. So you can't even be poor in peace anymore. That's why these kids are on their parents' necks about, oh, buy me this. Why can't you afford it? Because they've gone and tortured themselves. And if you tell them, oh, turn off your phone, turn off your tablet, you don't need to have to listen to all of that, they don't care. Because to them, real life isn't the life they're living. It's online. Is what can you show off online to make people think, I've got it like that. Now, mind you, the same kids that are flexing on each other go to the same school, live in the same area. So income-wise, their parents are probably similar. But just because of the clothes you're wearing, in your mind, you feel superior because you can afford it. The irony of the world. But hey, before we lock this one up, I want to know what you think about the current obesity crisis. If you really think the government has obese people's best interests at heart. That sounded weird to say, but apparently that's what the narrative is right now. And let me know about anything else that's going on in the week. I'm very interested to talk up the things, especially when AY is back in the building. I don't know when this episode is going to drop. It might have been her birthday, or her birthday would have been passed by now. But make sure you tell her happy birthday. I've got my book series, Hey, I'm the Big Sis You Never Had, out on Spotify only for subscribers. I got new chapters dropping every week, and it's an exciting one because I read the book. I also give my own antidotes, notes, and we go through this journey of healing, growing, and being unapologetically yourself. So I'd love to know what you think about that if you are a subscriber to it. And make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We still have our last milestone left. Woo, can you imagine it? Our last milestone is 10K on Instagram, which is Hey Sis _UK. And for us, remember, YouTube and all the red tape. Rewatch episodes. Check episodes you haven't seen and watch them. Support some real ones right here over on Hey Sis. You've been watching or listening to another banging episode. Stay blessed.
Girl, let me put it on you, no time for chit chat. Because she move like a queen and I like what I see and I wanna get more of that.
I undress and he blows success. Lay down as you decompress. Come on and forget the stress. Got the 9 to 5 cause he tryna change his life. He can't help it but to show his bad side. So he call me Yezzi when he want that good ride. Follow my stride, you know you want a good time. Pick any card, I know it won't decline. He know how to please me, never tease me. Keep me in Givenchy, laced in Gucci. Quick, take the keys and drive to Chelsea. Eat a scalini, order linguine. He ordered the chateau, we got it to go, then flew to the chateau. You already know.